All right, y'all, welcome back. It's time for day 6 of fall camp. News, notes, and thoughts. Please like and subscribe to the channel. This is the first day that we're fully padded. I think that it went very well. And also double check and make sure that you are subscribed. We talked about this maybe a couple of videos ago, and we got a lot of subs out of it. So there's still several people. I mean, there's thousands of people that are watching us on a consistent basis that are not subscribed. So please help us out. That is how we eat on this channel. But we're going to be starting off with the injuries. It's the exact same list as we had yesterday. And there's some veterans on here that I'm not too worried about it, but Joshua Joseph's got to watch that one very, very closely. Not quite sure what's going on with him. What they're saying is it's like a nagging injury, but for him to be missing this many days, we'll see. I mean, by next week, I would say that if he's not back, we might have a little bit of a problem. So I'm watching that one really, really closely. Braylon Staley, I think he's maybe, this is just me kind of speculating. I think that he's probably on, it's kind of like a pitch count, right? Like a workload management. So hopefully that's all that is. Ricky Gibson, it came out that he's got some sort of like a nagging lower body deal. It sounds like it's very, very minor though. That's what they're telling us. I don't know, like with really all these guys that are more veterans, you got to watch it very closely over these next couple of weeks. It's not super normal that they're missing a ton of practice, missing a day or two. Yeah, but once it starts to get to like 3, 4, 5 days, we might need to start to look out and worry about will these guys be ready for week one. But that's just me. Okay, that's just me kind of speculating based off of what I've known previously with this staff and also playing football. But Brazel, he's actually back. He's just getting acclimated, so he's just getting himself back into practice shape. We talked about that with Boo Carter, but he is supposed to be practicing at some point this week. Now, the next practice is going to be, I think, Friday, and then we have a scrimmage on Saturday. So will he get to go for that scrimmage? More than likely, I mean, I would say probably not, but if he can at least practice on Friday, I think that that's a very positive sign. And outside of that, I think the Tennessee's in pretty decent shape at this point in fall camp. So let's talk about the players and coaches that spoke to the media. So we got to listen to the D-line today. Coach Garner, who is our D-line coach, he talked about with our tackles. This is something that P and I have talked about several times. We've all talked about it, right? We feel great about that, like top three, but who's 4 through 6? That's what Coach Garner's trying to get figured out. It sounds like he has a good idea of who that could be, but I mean, you have to show up every single day. You know, like you're gonna have to prove that all the way up to kickoff. And I think that we still have some, we still have several players there that I personally like. I just want to know like what's the 4 through 6 look like, and I think that we will be fine by kickoff with Syracuse. So next is going to be that Tyree Weathersby, man. He said that he's had a great camp so far, which is great news for us. He's a guy that coming out of high school, he and I absolutely loved. I mean, you could tell he's got all the skills that you want. He's got like prototype size. I think he's close to 270, 275, playing it strong side and very twitchy, just everything, right? He has it all. But coming off of that surgery last year, I don't think that he was maybe like a step too slow. Now he's got his speed back, just from what I can tell. The burst is there. So if Coach G's high on him, then that means he's going to have probably a very, very good year. And he also talks about that he really likes Daevin Hobbs. But he needs to just play lower because he's a taller guy, especially playing tackle, taller guy, longer guy. But I love what I've seen from him personally. And he really likes Don Bailey. He said that Don Bailey could be the MVP of fall camp up to this point. And maybe he didn't just mean fall camp. I don't know if he even said just fall camp, but maybe like for the whole off season, just with our D line. So that's big. He's I think 5th year, 6th year senior, something like that. But he's versatile. He can play outside at strong side, and he can also play inside at tackle. And it's great news that it sounds like he's having a great camp. He's stepping up, being a vocal leader and all those types of things. And he also said that this is the best strong side in room that he's had since he's been here. And we talked about that several times. That room is super deep. We've got probably for real like 8 or 9 guys that, I mean, you feel good about them going out there playing. And I don't think that I've ever seen any like edge room that looked like that, that just had that many people. It's going to be deeper than any of the other rooms that we've had. Like I'm talking about just with our line, right? It's going to be deeper than any of our tackle rooms, deeper than any of our Leo rooms. It's just extremely, extremely deep. But with that being said, we also got to hear from Coach Chop, who is Tennessee's Leo's coach, right? So he said that the room looks really good. He also talks about the group can maybe be better than it was last year. Not necessarily James Pierce, sort of like one player, but with several guys who could step up. And he talked about Joshua Josephs working on his weaknesses, which was kind of like pass rush and maintaining weight and strength over the course of the year. I'm on the same page there because Joshua Josephs looked really good versus the run, like great versus the run. His pass rush was, I would say like several steps under what James Pierce's was last year. He got pressure, but it wasn't quite on that level. If he could take a step forward with his pass rush, dude, I mean that room it's already deep. It's going to be even better. But he also talks about Jordan Ross. He said that he's been getting extra work, which you'll love to hear that. And he said that he plays really hard. That's what we saw from his high school film, too. I mean, he's a guy with a really high motor. He's got a mean streak to him, too. Kind of not even like a soft spoken guy, but you might not, like, whenever you're just talking to him, you might not think, hey, this is a mean guy. But on the field, he is really, really mean. So I think that he's poised for a big 2025 season. And he said that Caleb Herring, Jordan Ross, and Emmanuel Okoye have been getting valuable reps just because Joshua Josephs hasn't been out there too much. I'm starting to feel really good, man. I think Tennessee is at least four deep with our Leos, and we might be able to add maybe two more guys that we really trust, which we wouldn't need them. Tennessee typically has only rotated three guys there, and I mean mostly just yeah. I mean I would say close to three, but we might be able to do four. I mean that's possible. So that is excellent. And what else did he say? He said that Caleb Herring is stepping up as more of a vocal leader. So let's go on to Daevin Hobbs. Daevin Hobbs said that he's stepping up as a leader. It feels like there's a lot of players on this team. I think everyone touches on that. Maybe just because the media keeps on asking everybody that. So of course they're not going to say, "Well, I'm taking a seat back as a leader." They're all going to say that they're stepping up. But with some of these guys, the coaches have said the same thing. Like, yeah, they are stepping up. But so Daevin Hobbs doing a really good job there. Also saying he feels a lot more confident. That's another common theme, and that's obviously very, very positive. He said that Don Bailey is a really hard worker. He just brings it every single rep, every single day. And he said that he's motivated by last year's D line because, hey, man, they were really talented. He said, like just looking back, there was so much talent, felt like we could have done more. So I think that they're looking at that this year and saying, man, we got to maximize and hold on to every ounce of effort, plays that we can make. And I think that that's kind of like the vibe for this, really for this whole team. And next we heard from Jordan Ross. And he said that the team is more fun this year than it was last year. And I think he was more specifically talking about just that front four. So that's pretty interesting, but that could be partly just because he's more locked in, which he also talked about that. He said, I wasn't as locked in last year just because I knew I probably wasn't going to play. That was a really deep room. But once you get more locked in and hey, I'm going to be one of the guys, it does make you focus more and everything just seems more fun. It's funny how that works. But he also just talks about being a lot more comfortable with the defense and having a much better understanding. So little things like that with players that physically they're on a super high level, okay, like really, really, really high. Once they figure things out mentally, then the game starts to slow down, and you can actually see their talent on the field on Saturdays when it actually counts. So I think that room with our Leos is going to be tremendous. Now, last guy's going to be Caleb Herring, and he talked about being in a bad place last year. He didn't specify exactly what that meant, but kind of like, dealing with some things maybe mentally, right? Maybe just didn't feel as confident just because he felt like he was going to have a bigger role. So I guess he did kind of tell us, like where that came from. But, he said he is expecting a really, really big year in 2025. And he said that he's stepping up as a leader. He's one of the guys that the coaches did also point out as a leader. And he said that Jordan Ross is off to a really good start. He said that he looks really good and that he asks a ton of questions. I love players that want to know the why behind what we're doing, because that why is going to help you with the things that the coaches can't necessarily teach you. I mean, it feels like they're out there all the time to the players and maybe even to us as fans. But even with all that time, the coaches still can't teach you everything. So some of it has to be just a basic understanding of what you're doing. So I'm proud to hear them all talking like that. And again, that D-line is going to be tremendous. Now let's talk about Tennessee's quarterback. So much better day. Okay, sounds like it was really, really clean. I actually have some kind of like makeshift stats. I don't think that it's solid stats, but like with the routes on air portions. So what we have is that Jake Merklinger, who it sounds like Merk and Joey rotated as the starter. I mean, I saw one site said that they were rotating, and then the other two sites pretty much said that that Merk was the starter. So I don't know. Either way, Merk went 11 of 13. Joey Aguilar went 13 of 16, and GMAC went 9 of 12. Now, since Joey got more passes, and again, this is makeshift, so maybe the person that gave us these numbers, maybe they missed some of these reps, but the player with the most snaps, with the most passes, probably would have been that starter. Either way, it doesn't too much matter at this point with the quarterback competition. They will be fighting back and forth all the way up to, I think, like the week, the week coming out of fall camp. But it sounds like they were throwing a lot more deep passes, but it was mostly like the intermediate stuff. So 10 to 20 yards. There's a lot more of that with this team now. I saw some outs with some tighter splits, which is huge. We've been hearing about seams, which is also huge. Since he just hasn't run too many of those types of routes here previously, but that's going to definitely help this offense to take it that next step where we have answers to some of the ways that defenses want to try to play us. And it sounds like, again, Mark probably had the best day. I saw that on a couple of those sites. And it sounds like the deep passes looked really good. It was mostly accurate. There was some times when maybe there was a drop or two by more like walk-on players. But, for the most part, they were about as accurate as you could anticipate with those deeper passes. It is more difficult to hit on those just because it's a further pass. So I feel good, especially with this being the first day with those pads on. We said, hey, it's possible that they could take a step back, but the fact that they didn't take a step back and maybe even took that step forward, heading into this off day, I think that we could anticipate that maybe on the upcoming practice, which would be Friday, maybe they'll look even sharper. I mean, hopefully that's what the case is. But with the wide receivers, so it sounds like Mike Matthews had a very very strong day, and actually just in watching him going through some of these drills, man, he looks good. So he had on like that red non-contact jersey. So I mean, just going through like the routes on air, going through individual drills with his footwork and everything, and also with the way that he's catching footballs. I mean, it's all hands, and that's something that I did notice is that, and, maybe it's just because we got more clips with our wideouts, but very strong hands for most of those guys. So that makes me feel great because that room, it's not that many bodies. They're gonna have to be dogs. Like they're gonna have to go snatch footballs, make people miss after the catch. So I would like to see a lot more of that. But sounds like Mike Matthews had a great day, which I mean he should because he's the guy in that room. Now, it also sounds like Jefferson might have had one drop, and I mean that's not a big deal. You know what I'm saying? It sounds like it was kind of a bad drop, but I mean to me, all drops are bad. These are wide receivers. Like their job is to catch footballs. They're gonna probably get, I mean, several targets over the course of a practice. I don't know how many, but a lot. So you're gonna drop some. Not a super huge deal, but you do want for them moving forward, like the drops should be less and less. But it just sounds like this room as a whole, if there were drops, it was mostly just from players that are, more like walk-on guys that won't probably get to play as much this year. But some of those walk-on guys will have to step up. I think that we all should know that. So Mr. Trey Weary, he's one of those guys that I think will have to step up for us. I've heard some great things about him, from several different outlets. But yeah, it sounds like he had a very nice day. So him and Tommy Winton, who is another walk-on guy, sounds like they had very, very good days for us. And obviously, just in like watching some of the clips, I think that Travis Smith looked really good. Ra looked really good. But we've got some good looking players. I hope that we can get back fully healthy by kickoff, like we touched on. But we definitely have some guys. Dotson also looked really good too. Just from what I could see, he catches the football with his hands. He looks very comfortable. He's got good like weight to him, and he's a burner. So everybody's going to have to step up. Like we're going to have to push one another for sure because that room it's going to be big for us. Okay, I'm gonna tell you that right now. That room's going to be big for this team in 2025. All right, so next is going to be Tennessee secondary. And sounds like the cornerbacks was only Colton Hood, Tyler Redmond, Trey Poteet. And let me also point this out that in the video earlier, I said that Coach Allen Williams was coaching up Jordan Burns, but that was actually Trey. So Pete pointed that out to me. And I think that just kind of speaks volumes about how big Trey is. He's number 21. So the numbers are similar with him and Jordan Burns, but man, he's got really, really, really good size. He's a thick looking kid. So he's a guy that, like I touched on, I wouldn't mind seeing him getting some reps everywhere in Tennessee secondary. Like let him burn some at safety and also at star. I think that he looks like a prototype star, but he's going to be really, really good. He's the son of a coach, and everything that I've seen so far from him, I really, really like. But outside of those first three guys that we just named, we had Marcus Gorey playing at corner and also Colin Brazel. That's Chris Brazel's younger brother. He has really good size and length. And I think that it's a good thing that he's getting more reps right now with our other cornerbacks being like banged up. You know what I'm saying? Ricky Gibson not being out there. These guys need to get some burn and they need to be ready. Like they need to focus. And I'm going to keep on saying this too because we're getting close. They need to focus every single day in every single practice in every single rep. Like we're going to end up starting or we're going to have to play. So we need everyone focused from that standpoint. If we can get that type of buy-in, which I'm not saying that we don't have it, but if that is the case every single day, rep after rep, this is going to be a very good football team. All right, so next, let's talk about stars. So J Mac was starting, okay, even whenever even with the ones, okay? So we talked about it yesterday that J-Mac was starting at corner with the ones yesterday, but today he was starting at star. So I'm not quite sure what the starting group was. Must have been Colton Hood at corner and also Tyler Redmond at corner. He's a guy that we've talked about. Love him. I think he's going to play great. So, outside of J-Mac at star, we had Boo Carter, obviously, and William Wright. So William Wright was working at cornerback on one of the previous practices. Now he's working at star. I'm waiting on him to get some burn playing at safety, but it's important that he does get to play everywhere because him being that veteran, he might have to fill some of those voids in different spots. But him being older, he should understand what he needs to do. So I think that it's weird to say that this is positive just because people aren't practicing, but it can be a positive thing. It's just all in how you look at it. We're getting more reps and we're actually building more depth. So I think that that's great. Now, safeties, it was Andre Turntine with Idris Farouk, who got a lot of burn with the ones today. And watching really all of these safeties, obviously Caleb Beasley, he got to rotate into. But I mean, man, I just think that we look really good. So like with Ed, we had kind of talked about, wasn't quite sure about his coverage. And that was just based off of limited reps that we got to see last year. Limited reps in maybe like spring camp, in fall camp. Yeah, it's tough with some of these drills just because you're only seeing like a little snippet of it. But seeing him with some more of the like real true secondary drills, I think that he opens up his hips very well. He's got good burst and he looks confident. Okay, so all these guys, I'm starting to feel better about that safety room with that top three, but we still got to find two more guys after that. Next is going to be Tennessee's running backs. And I mean, we just saw them doing like a couple of clips worth of pass pro stuff. So it was Justin Baker and then Morris. I think that they both looked pretty good doing it. You could tell that they're really working on their funds and trying to get better. Obviously, that room is very deep. I mean, we got some big, solid looking running backs. Really not worried about those guys. But yeah, pass pro is going to be something that I think that the whole room could take a big step forward with. My vote is and has been to just let them run more routes so that now, where the people who might be blitzing would have to cover them instead of making them have to block. But yes, they're going to have to block sometimes. So you might as well figure out how to get that done. Offensive line, the starting group today was Lance Hurd at left tackle. Moy, Moy was at left guard. Sam Pendleton was playing at center. Jesse Perry was playing at right guard. And then David Sanders was at right tackle. So I think that this is going to be Tennessee's starting offensive line. And we've also talked about this. Feels like Sam Pendleton is in a good spot to be able to start at center, but him and Sat will probably keep on rotating. I don't know. I mean, at this point, heading into the scrimmage, we'll see. Coming out of the scrimmage, how that lineup looks, I think that we'll have a much better understanding of what the staff is looking at, like who's the real ones and twos, just with the offensive line. Won't be the same everywhere. Like quarterback's going to be one that's going to go on and on and on. But with the offensive line, I think that they want to get that figured out very, very quickly. And it could also be a situation where maybe Wendell Moy goes to right guard, and then you can have Sham Umarov starting for you at left guard. I think that Sham and Jesse Perry, they could play either guard, but it feels like the staff might like Jesse Perry more on that right side, maybe, and then they like Sham more on that left side. Again, maybe, but for me, it would actually be flipped. Maybe. I'm not sure. I think that Jesse Perry is really just better from top to bottom. But Sham he's really good too. So last thing is going to be Tennessee's D-line. That's kind of like where we started off at. And Jordan Ross, he had that brace on his knee. I saw him kind of gimpy in one of those reps. I don't know. I mean, they're not talking about it, so I'm hoping that won't have any setbacks, just because I don't think that room could. Yeah, I mean, with Joshua Josephs, maybe kind of missing some time. You don't want two guys that you feel like was in your top three missing time. But outside of that, Kellen Lindstrom, I have a question about his weight. Is he up over 240? Because it does look like he's maybe lost some weight, and that's going to happen sometimes. I mean, players get sick, right? I mean, these are human beings too, or whatever. But it does kind of feel like he's maybe lost some weight. So hopefully he can get himself back right by the start of the season, because I think he's a guy that Tennessee could definitely use. And then Don Bailey, I would like to really see him get some more reps playing at tackle. I just think that he's a good strong side in, and haven't seen him do too much since spring as far as like live reps. But I just think that tackle room could use him more than that strong side in room, just because we have so many bodies there. And then, yeah, that's pretty much it. I mean, there was nothing with our linebackers. I mean, I'll just say they still look good. Like with any little clips that we see, they look really, really good. You know what? I'll throw this in there. Ben Bolton, who's number 33, he's a walk-on backer, like 6'3", close to 240. Looks really good. He's got this neck roll on, which makes him look even bigger. So maybe that's a note, maybe it's not. But that's going to do it, y'all. Please make sure to like and subscribe to the channel. Leave your thoughts down in that comment section, and we'll be talking to y'all later on. Thanks. Peace. Thanks for watching. And please make sure to like and subscribe to the channel because that keeps us growing inside of the YouTube algorithm. And if you did like this video, here's another one that you might also enjoy. Thank you, thank you, thank you. We'll see you on the next one. Peace.